Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to England once again, and this is a brewery that comes really highly rated, or really highly recommended I should say, from my English beer tubing friends. So Craig, Dean, Harry, Rob, Stuggy Pickard and all of these people really rave about this brewery, so I'm glad that I'm finally getting to do a dedicated review to them on the channel. So for this one we are going to go down to Huddersfield in Yorkshire and do my first dedicated review to Magic Rock Brewing. This one is their High Wire Grapefruit, a grapefruit version of course of their regular High Wire West Coast IPA. It comes in at 5.5%, rated 97 overall on Rate Beer, and within the style if I remember correctly, but it should be a pretty damn good beer, and this is a brewery with a very good reputation. The only other Magic Rock beer I can think of that I had was the collaboration they did with Brewdog and Stone, the Magic Stone Dog, and it was really quite nice actually, so definitely looking forward to trying one of their own beers this time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the review as well. And do make sure you go and check out Dean's Beer Reviews, Kent Beer Reviews, Hop Scene and Blue Nose Beer Reviews, all of these guys reviewing down in England, Ginger Ale Ale Trail. They'll be able to keep you up to date with the things that are going on in the English beer scene. So yeah, as always I will tell you a little bit about the history and of the brewery then. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Magic Rock. As I said, very first time I'm doing a dedicated review to these guys. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of the beers from different countries. There is an English one in there that you can have a look at as well, of course. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review, especially if you're watching in England, because English beer can be a little bit difficult to find in Scotland and of course over in Sweden where I spend most of my time. But your support and your input to the channel is always hugely appreciated. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Magic Rock then, quite excited for this review actually. So Magic Rock Brewing are based in Huddersfield in Yorkshire in England, and they were established back in 2011 by brothers Richard and Johnny Burhouse, although Johnny Burhouse, he left the company in the same year that it was founded, but they were soon joined by head brewer Stuart Ross, who is still with them today. But the beer brewing began in mid-2011, and the beers really proved so popular that the brewery actually won the accolade of Best New Brewery of 2012 from Rate Beer, of course, a very good barometer when it comes to actually seeing how good the beer you're tasting is. So the brewery was actually largely inspired by the craft beer scene in America, you know, the explosion on the west coast of America that happened in the last 20 years or so, I guess you would say. But they've been very, very popular. Over the last little while they've been expanding their capacity, adding more staff, and as of 2015 the brewery are based at the Willow Business Park in Birkby, and they now employ over 30 people, and this new site has a brewing capacity of 10,000 hectolitres per year and a fermentation capacity of 70,000 litres. But they're always producing new things. As I said, the brewery website's in the description below. I'm sure if you follow them on Facebook, Twitter and all of these sort of things, you can keep up to date with all the new beers that are coming out. They're quite prolific and their beers are really quite popular, so it's a brewery that you definitely want to keep an eye on if you're interested in English beer. And like I say, the English beer tubers really seem to rave about these guys when they bring new things out, and very distinctive of course for this style of artwork. So yeah, that's enough about the brewery just now. As I say, check out the links in the description below if you want to go and have more of a read about them. But we'll get on to the tasting of this beer itself now. So this one is a 5.5% West Coast IPA. It's hopped with Cascade, Centennial, Chinook, Citra, Columbus and Magnum. Quite a big hop bill there, and it's got a malt base of acidulated Golden Promise, Munich and Vienna malts, and obviously they've added a bit of grapefruit to the brew as well. Probably grapefruit puree actually, because that seems to be the popular choice. But yeah, let's actually get this beer out then and we'll have a look at what's going on with this. I'll just let you have a quick look at the artwork, of course. This is the kind of typical style of artwork that Magic Rock are known for. I do like these kind of mad faces and things like that. It reminds me of Monsters Inc. a little bit actually when I see this kind of style of artwork, but very nicely done. You can see on the back of the can there, the kind of sort of castle gate thing, that is the Magic Rock brewery symbol, and I do like that. 5.5% ABV, 1.8 units, all of this usual stuff. So let's get it out and into the glass then. Oof, you can smell the grapefruit on that as you open it up. Lovely. So as I was saying, you know, the English guys, they seem to love this brewery, and I've seen recently that Magic Rock have been releasing the big half-litre cans, so I'll need to try and pick up a few of those, because Rob at Hop Scene in particular, he was telling me that these beers are really quite good, and of course Dean, Harry and everyone, they always talk about how good the Magic Rock beers are, so I'm glad I can finally try one of these for you. So as you can see, this beer has poured a really quite bright orange colour. I'd say it's quite a bright, it's almost like it's actually more kind of a yellowy orange amber, this one. It's somewhere between yellow and orange. The beer does have a good little bit of opacity to it. There's a good bit of opaque character there. You can get some transparency to it as well, particularly around the edges. There's a little bit of sediment just floating around in this one. Some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, but just a few going up towards the bottom of that head there. The head, by the way, is perfectly white, not creamy or anything like that, and I would say it's a solid finger of a frothy white head, but absolutely lovely looking beer. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma of this one then. Oh yeah, you know, straight up, it's the grapefruit that's coming out. That's kind of what you'd expect, that sort of dark, yet fruity and sweet aroma that you're getting from the grapefruit. That's dominating the nose on this, but let's see what else we can get from it. Yeah, there's really, see, to be honest, there's really not that much else coming out of this beer. It's quite hard to pick out the other notes. There's a bit of biscuit and kind of bready malt in there underneath. Yeah, it really is just a big kind of fruity juice bomb more than anything. You can pick out a little bit of the sort of bready and kind of caramelly biscuity notes from the malt. Of course, when you've got Munich and Vienna malts in there, that is kind of what you'd expect. Golden Promise, I think, does kind of give you a little bit of a biscuity caramel thing too. But yeah, you can pick that up in this beer. But really, it's just dominated by the grapefruit. I'm not getting any kind of pine resins or anything from this one, with the Chinook, of course. It always gives you a big pine resiny character. It's quite a distinctive hop for the kind of darker grapefruit notes and the big pine resins, but I'm not getting that in this one. There's a little bit of the kind of lighter fruits coming out from the Citra. The Citra, of course, gives you things like mangoes and papaya and peaches and stuff like that. There's maybe a little bit of that Citra character just coming out under the grapefruit, but really that addition, that added grapefruit that they've put into this beer is absolutely dominating the aroma in this one. There's maybe a bit of grassiness coming out and, I don't know, maybe a little bit of floral character as well, but really the nose is completely dominated by the addition, the grapefruit that they've put into this beer. It really does smell just like grapefruit juice, to be honest with you, with a little bit of bready malty character underneath and maybe some of the Citra hops. But you know, you could take a whiff of this in passing and you'd just think it was grapefruit juice. But yeah, really nice smelling beer that. I do have to admit I quite like that, so we'll see how we get on with this one. So this is the High Wire Grapefruit from Magic Rock Brewing down in Huddersfield in Yorkshire. Slàinte. It's pretty good actually. Yeah, that's nice. But definitely, you know, definitely for fans of grapefruit, this beer, the grapefruit really is just dominating the flavour in this one. But you know, if you buy this beer, that's what you expect. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I can see why, you know, as a rating in 97, you can see immediately with this beer why it has that, and why, you know, this beer is definitely one for the hop heads. It's got this you know, this big hoppy character there, but the fruity character that they've added to the beer, you know, the addition of the grapefruit, it gives it the same big fruity flavour, but it kind of, in a way, you can feel the juiciness of the fruits mixing with the hoppy bitterness, and it really works quite well in this beer. I can see why it has the rating it does. So as I always say with these beers, sugar them around your palate a little bit and just let your whole mouth adjust to them. This one is really, really nice. So the malt base in this one is actually fairly straight up. It's got some bready character that goes right across the middle of the palate. As the flavour progresses into the aftertaste, you start to pick up a little bit more of a biscuity character, or a slightly, just a light kind of sweet caramel coming out of this one as well. But of course the hoppy side of things is where this beer really starts to get interesting. This beer is pretty damn good actually. So On the sides of the palate, you've got a big kind of pine resin thing just underpinning the beer. You can feel some of the floral aromaticity on top of that. Of course, Magnum, from what I remember, does give you a good bit of floral aromaticity. And Columbus too, they give you this kind of big floral character, and that's just kind of underpinning the beer. The back corners of the palate, I actually quite like. There's not too much hoppy character at the very back, but as you come further forward on the sides, you've got this pine resin underpinning and a lot of floral aromaticity to the beer as well. There's a little bit of lighter grassy character just going around the front curve of the tongue there, but overall this is a really quite nice beer. This is lovely. Certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this one again. So if you see this, I'm not sure if it's a limited edition actually. I got this one from Toppling Madness in York actually. He did tell me this was a kind of a special version of the beer, so I'm not sure if that means it was a limited edition, but definitely give this guy a go if you get the chance. I'd love to try the original High Wire as well, so I think that might be my next review, either that or a dark beer, I guess. As I always say, that's a good measure of what a brewery's like. If you try a dark beer and one of the lighter ones, that gives you a good idea of the sort of the feel of the brewery, I guess you would say. But this beer is lovely, you know. The fruity character of this beer is pretty straight up. If you go behind the front curve of the tongue there, that's where a lot of these fruity oils from the hops are coming out. So obviously there's grapefruit underpinning. I mean, you've got Cascade in there, you've got Centennial, Chinook, Columbus. They are all going to give you a little bit of that kind of dark grapefruit character. And with the addition of the grapefruit, this is the key difference when you actually add fruit to the beer. It always gives you this kind of more juicy kind of hop, this juicy fruity character right around the edge of the tongue where there'd normally be hoppy bitterness. So that's how you can kind of taste the beer and sort of tell whether there's fruity character, there's been fruit added to the brew. With this one, right enough, it would be just a little bit more difficult actually, just because of how big the hop presence is, even with the sort of fruit addition to this beer. So that's quite an interesting point to make about this beer. It's got the same feel actually to it. This is the $10 shake I reviewed a few videos ago for you. But this is really nice. You know, if you like grapefruit, then definitely buy up this beer. There's a good bit of citrusy character just kind of on top of that as well. But the grapefruit and the pine resins and the sort of slightly spicy floral aromaticity, they blend together really well. For me, the pine resins fade a little bit, and then they start to come back and push their way out as you move further into the aftertaste, and there's a sort of spicy character, like a spicy floral aromaticity that comes out in the aftertaste too. But the lingering flavours in this one are definitely the grapefruit, the pine resins, the floral aromaticity, and there's a little bit of the bready malt base in there as well. So yeah, really quite nice beer, this one. If you get the chance to try it, I highly recommend that you do. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd actually say it's a mid-bodied beer. At 5.5%, it's actually a little bit heavier in the mouthfeel than you might expect. You could be forgiven for thinking this beer is a bit heavier than that. It does to me. Maybe it's just the grapefruit, the way the grapefruit flavour comes across, but it does to me come across as if it's a little bit boozier than it is. You'd maybe think this beer is around the kind of 6.87% mark actually, or just the kind of regular, one of the kind of stronger IPAs that you're going to come across. But it really is quite nice. There's a good bit of hoppy bitterness there, there's a good bit of juicy character from the fruits. The malt base overall is quite smooth, but it does have a little bit of sweetness, and you know, it really is a really quite nice beer, this one. So if you get the chance to try it, I highly recommend that you do. The Grapefruit High Wire, or High Wire Grapefruit, from Magic Rock Brewing in Huddersfield in Yorkshire, England. A brewery that all of the English beer tubers rave about, and you know, now I can kind of see why. So I'm sure I'll review some of their other beers for you in the fairly near future. But yeah, thank you for watching my beer reviews once again. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Check out my social media, but most importantly, support your local craft breweries. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer and the brewery in the comments section below. Always interesting to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and as always, thank you for your support. Until the next time, slange just now, the High Wire Grapefruit from Magic Rock Brewing down in Huddersfield, Yorkshire, England. A pretty cracking beer, this one. Definitely for fans of grapefruit and kind of floral aromatic pine resinous IPAs. Till the next time, slange just now. Cheers.